How's it going? It is November 12th, 2024. My name is Melissa, and this is my channel, Geeky Witch, about all things cross-stitch in my life. And it is a exciting week for me because I have another retreat that's starting on Thursday. And I cannot wait to go. I need this retreat so badly, especially after last week with the news. Anyone who's watched my channel for a while knows where I stand, and I'm trying to get my thoughts around it and what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to go into it here because this is my stitching channel. If you need all my venting of that, contact me on Facebook because I've been going off. Anyway, all right. So today I'm going to be packing for Stitchin' at the Farm, which is held at the East Hill Farm in Troy, New Hampshire. This is a retreat that's actually held by the farm, so it's not like a traditional cross-stitch retreat where it's held by stitchers or held by a shop or a designer or whatever. This is just held by the location. They hold a bunch of different events throughout the year for tons of different groups, not just crafting groups. And a few years ago, they decided they were going to start holding a cross-stitch one, and it filled up quickly because it's a fantastic location, and the cost is quite reasonable because it basically is everything's included in the cost. Your hotel room, or it's not, don't think hotel like a traditional hotel. Your accommodations, that's the word I'm looking for. Accommodations, 3 meals a day, all included. And then they have different tiers of accommodations on the farm. They have a bunch of what would be traditional hotel rooms within the main inn, and then there's like little cabins and other types of rooms scattered all around the farm. And it kind of became a luck of the draw of who gets what, especially now that there's a wait list to go to this retreat. But once you get in, you have first dibs to rebook your room again the next year. So my friend and I have what's considered one of the basic rooms, and it's a tiny old little out cabin that has a queen bed and two in one room and twins on the other, and then a shared bathroom and a little sitting room, and that's it. That's all we need. It's perfect, and it's like a minute and a half from the door of the main inn. It's very easy. So, and I will be doing photos and everything when I get up there. Anyway, so this retreat is 2 or 3 nights, all 3 meals, and you can just basically hang out and stitch. If you don't want to stitch the whole time, you can go take a walk. There's trails nearby. You can go commune with the animals on the farm because it is a working farm. I always make a point to go out and say hi to the chickens and the cows because that's who I am. They have a couple of very opinionated donkeys, so much so that the first year we were all there, Seraphim Fabrics made a special fabric for us called Braying Donkey because the donkey is opinionated and you can hear him everywhere on the farm. So it's a good time, and honestly, it's one of those things that I get to this time of year, I'm like, I am so ready for the farm. It is the best stitching weekend I have. It is completely like unscheduled other than meal times. And it's like farm fresh food served family style and, good stuff. And I need this weekend for both with the state of the country and also just, I'm tired. I just need a weekend. So I'm going up Thursday, coming back at the end of the retreat on Sunday, and took Monday off. So Monday I will probably do my recap of, you know, with photos and everything of what went on at the farm, what I stitched, that kind of thing. So you get 2 in a week. So to prepare for it, and don't mind me if I kind of am a little wonky, we're out of cream for coffee, so I haven't had coffee yet. I'll be doing that after I finish filming. So I'm still kind of waking up a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to show you what I put in my retreat bag. And this is kind of a thing that I do for any retreat, but since, hey, it's the farm and it's a really easy one for me to put together, partially because I just got out of a retreat, so everything is conveniently right where I can find it. Alright, so we will start off with, of course, you need a proper stitching bag, and everyone's got their own form of bag. I know some people have ones that are on wheels, padded ones, or I've seen some people with like the shopping bags with the bag in it that's really, really tall. Whatever works for you and the projects that you do. There is no right or wrong for a project, for a carry bag. You got to do what works for you. In my case, I am using one of my bags that I got from Black Needle Society, because these things are massive and can carry way too much stuff, and I am blessed to have 3 of them. One of them is currently full of a whole ton of floss, and the other one currently has a whole ton of fabric in it that I need to put away. So this is the one that is currently free. And it's massive. It's got pockets. It has strings from old projects that are hanging on inside of it. It gets used. So we'll put that there. Okay. So the first thing I am always going to put in my project bag to make sure that it is in my project bag is my supply bag. Mine is just a bag from a shop nearby called the Quilted Crow. This is where I keep all of just my extra stuff. So I have a corner the corner measure in there. I've got hand lotion in there. I always keep a couple extra pairs of scissors in there. So I've got scissors. I always keep my doohickey. I don't think that the name of it is something similar to doohickey, but this is basically if you have to frog stuff off, then you can brush your stuff off. I always keep a couple of highlighters because I am a paper pattern person. I have a measuring tape. I used to keep like an actual longer measuring tape, but then in one of my Black Needle boxes I got this really handy little, and it can be around my wrist, but I don't have it, but it's like a perfect 6 inches, and that's all I need for what I'm doing here. I have random crap that doesn't belong in here, so I'm going to have to clean it out a little bit. I have my seam ripper, also very handy. And I keep the supplies for, there's a pack of needles in there. And then over here is my Lowry stand. And whether or not I carry it with me for a retreat, and I will be this time, I always keep the tightening rod for it in this bag, regardless, because then I know where it is. So that is my bag. Let me put this stuff back in there. Oh, and I purchased this summer, and I'm adding to it, is putting in just a couple of thimbles, because now that I am having to figure stick twice a day, sometimes my, depending on which one I'm using, I might have a really tender finger, so I just want to have something to pat it. So that goes in there. Okay, Next up is my light. Now, I have a couple of different travel lights. I have this one, which was one of the super cheap jobbies that my friends and I got at the Quilted Crow years ago, and at the time they were like $5. Now I think they're maybe $10 to $15. Stupid cheap, very light. This one used to be my office light at my old, my company's old location, because it was super bright and just easy and everything. I also have one with a magnifier that, you know, I can look through with a magnifier. I'm not bringing that one this time because I don't have anything I'm going to need it for. So this is my stitching light. Put that in the bag. And this is why this bag is handy, by the way, because I can put everything I need in this bag. And I have one bag and I don't have to worry about like porting a whole ton of stuff. The only thing that does not fit in this bag is the Lowry stand, which will just get thrown in the car and it'll be ready to go. Okay, so now let's see. I've got a couple extra hoops. I'm doing ones the same size this time. Usually I bring one of one size and one of another, but I can only find half of the one that's smaller than this right now. And the pieces I'm bringing are all kind of big, so we'll just do that. I don't need to like try to figure this out that hard. A couple of hoops is all I need. So then we get to projects. First off, and the focus and why I'm bringing Lowry's stand is my jade band sampler. I'm not going to unroll the whole thing today. I did in my last video, so you're welcome to see it there. It has not changed since last time. But this is now the piece that is probably my biggest priority to finish, other than the ornament for an exchange that I've been working on for 2 weeks. That's a surprise. But this is my next high priority piece. This is divided out by weeks, and I am on week 18 out of 30, so it's getting relatively close to being done. Ideally, at the farm, I'd like to finish this square and run my border down to where I'm at the end of this side of the scroll, and hopefully start the next week a little bit. So we'll put that in there. This is also going to be the nighttime project because it's on 27 count, it's on white, super easy to see. So as my eyes get tired, this is the piece that I want to work on. I'm getting ahead of myself. When I pack for retreats, my rule of thumb is I bring one project per day plus one. So since I'm going up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning, that's 4 days. So 4 projects plus one. Realistically, am I going to work on all of them? Probably not, but that gives me I need to bring all the things, and still keep it under control and not bring 50 projects, which is just crazy and I'm never going to do. So a project per day plus one. Plus there's a lot of stitching. I may want to switch out. It also gives me if I really screw up and I don't feel like frogging, I've got another piece to move on. All right, one of those projects is always a piece that is easier on the eyes for nighttime stitching. That's where Jade Band Sampler is coming into play. Next piece I'm bringing is From Sea to Shining Sea by Little House. Also an easy one to stitch. I want to get this moving a little bit more. So that's what that looks like right now. And let me get you I did not pull all of my note pages today for my pieces, but when I do my recap on Monday, I will. So you can get all the details on fabrics and that kind of stuff. That is not the picture I'm looking for. That's the picture I'm looking for. All right, so this is the full piece. This was a piece that had all of the floss with it. It was like a multi-part piece, which Little House does kind of frequently. The difference was on this one is that it's all silks, which I thought was kind of unusual. And I can't remember what brand the silks are because it's actually not listed there. But they were just the ones that were in with it. So I was like, okay. My son did help me with picking the fabric. But yeah, so that's where that is. For this one, I just want to work on that second square. I don't really care what I get done. I just want to get something done on it. So, all right. So, and that has its own project bag. Everything's in with it. Easy carry. Oh, and I should probably do that for my, this is the project bag for Jade Band Sampler. Everything's in it. That needs to go in there. Okay. Next piece I'm going to bring, if the zipper on this one is a little funky. There we go. Is Cote Bayonne, or Bayonne Cat from Owl Forest Embroidery. And this was another one that was completely kitted. It has her flosses and her fabric. It's 32 count, if I remember right. And this is what I have done. For this piece, I'm going to just continue working the tail and, you know, just kind of play around here. Once I get into a rhythm on this, this actually stitches pretty quickly. But again, I just want to make progress. I really don't care what I get done, just something. The one thing I love about this piece, and I can't unfold it because, you know, I don't want to show patterns on screen, but Owl Forest Embroidery has a neat way of charting and publishing where they have the full part of the pattern. They do the whole thing, but then they include like 3 pages of cutouts of sections of the pattern that you can just trim out and put on the side of your hoop, so you don't have to wrestle with the big pattern size. And I kind of like that, where I can focus on one motif, and it's right there. But your full pattern is still intact, which is kind of nice. So you can see where, you know, everything is in relation to each other. It's something unique, something different. They're the only ones that I can think of that do that. Bayonne Cat is in a less exciting bag. I started just buying these because I needed a bunch. And one thing you may notice on as I'm flipping these around is every single one of my project bags has a little tab, and that has the name of the project. I know it's upside down, and because I took 2 years of Russian in high school, I did try my handwriting in Russian just to, you know, be a nerd. But I keep that on the side of them, especially with these bags, because so many of them look the same, and that way I don't have to open it up to figure out what the heck is inside of it. If things aren't like visible, like the tail, I'm gonna know what this is. But other ones I might not if I folded it a different way. So every single one of my project bags has a little key chain notation on it, on the zipper. And it works for a good zipper pull too. Alright, next up, and this actually works to prove the point because they are the identical colors. is, this is the and one piece. Of all the pieces, if I don't get to this one, that's okay, because this one, I kind of was like, do I want to do a new start at the farm? There's quite a few people who are doing a new start this year at the farm, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to. But I decided, I can kit it up right now, and if I want to, awesome, it's ready to go. So this is the, I took it out of the plastic to make it fit better. This is a Beacon of Hope from Stitchy Pros. This was the piece that we were given at Stitch New England's retreat last month as the retreat piece, you know, the freebie pattern that we were all given to in our goodie bag. And Pam from Stitch New England was kind enough to do all of the specialty floss in with it, and then you just had to kit the DMC out of your own, which I did, and Sin City Cross Stitchers fobs are getting used for this one. And by chance, when I was looking at the things, I had the fabric that it called for in my stash, which does not always happen, but I had the actual called for. I was like, no, okay, I guess this is meant to be. So this is Storm from Atomic Ranch, and it's a very pretty gray, just a very mild, you know, middle gray. And it calls for 28 count. I have 32 count, so my piece will just be a little bit smaller. No big deal. There's no beads or anything on this, so it's not going to be a big deal. But that is the freebie pattern, or my new start, should I want to start one. And it's a really pretty pattern. It was going to get started next year anyway, so if I start a little early, that's fine. I need to make a thing for this. I will once it gets started. Before it gets started, I'm not going to worry about it. But so that's going into the bag. And finally in the bag is Mary Foch. And I kind of had a panic moment this week because I had the first Thursday of every month, the Tutorose Sampler Guild right now is doing a stitch along on this, and I could not find mine. I'm like, all right, it physically has not left this room, so it's got to be here. Like, where did I put it? Turns out that I put it in a different bin than my normal active projects are. So, but I found it last night, so they can come to the farm with me. This is the pattern. It's called Mary Foch by Running with Needles and Scissors. This is not yet available to purchase, but will be after market in the spring. And so we are kind of the guinea pig stitchers and the trial stitchers for this one. She was 8 years old, and this was in 1821 is when she stitched it. And I don't have a ton done on this, which is part of the reason that I wanted to bring it. And this may be the piece that I'm working on the most at the farm, because part 4 just released and I'm still on part 1. So this is all I got done. Yeah, I need to do more. Right now it's like this section up here has all been released to us in charts. So I've got a little catching up to do. In an ideal world, what I would really like to do is at least get the vine, not necessarily like the leaves, but I want to get the vine counted out of this section at top and get all my words in. And then whatever else will be a bonus. But that's my goal. This has to be daytime stitching because this is on 46 count. And that also has its own project bag, appropriately with Rip It, Rip It, Rip It. That may have come from a black needle box too. Can't remember. Like so many people, my stitching bags come from all over the place, and some of them you remember where they come from, and then some of them you're like, Okay, next up, and where is it? Here's where the chaos starts, because I didn't plan everything and put it to the side. I need my placemat, and it is in this bag. Okay, so I brought that other bag with me to Stitch New England, and it has since been taken over by a whole ton of floss as I've been trying to organize floss, which is why it's over there. I have a placemat that I got from an Etsy seller called Stitch in Peace. And it still has my orts from Stitch New England in it. Basically, this just kind of sets your space, okay? So you have, this is for your current wayward floss. It's just got kind of a sticky mat. You've got an ort container. This is held on by a snap, so you can move it if you want. Handy to have it right there though. And then it's got a couple of little pockets in it. I normally, it's got the, I can probably get rid of the raffle stuff for Stitch New England now, since obviously I did not win those. It's got a couple of pockets in here. I normally, during the day, I keep my my needle case, which was still in here, my needle case in there, and then in the other one I'll usually keep like my scissors, or when I leave the table I'll put my cheater glasses in a pocket. But it just kind of gives you a space to set as yours at the table. And also, in my case, I'm someone who has a bad habit of spreading across the table. So this reminds me, this is your space. Stop taking over the table. But simple, folds in half, easy to carry, goes in there. And that's that. Okay, so I've got that. The last thing I need is my glasses, which I'm not going to put in yet because I'm going to stitch tonight, but cheater glasses, because I need those. And that winds up being my entire stitching bag for the retreat. Now, what do I bring to a retreat other than my stitching bag? Obviously, whatever clothes I'm wearing. I normally, during the day, I wear slippers of some sort, just because if I wear like shoes with ties, my feet just get kind of swollen and uncomfortable. So I wear something comfy on my feet. Crocs, slippers, whatever. Pick something comfy to you. Clothes-wise, obviously something loose and comfortable because you're going to be sitting all day. Oh. I can actually put that probably in the stitching bag. Brush it off a little bit here. At Stitch New England, because I had twinged my sciatic nerve a little bit, and the chairs were really hurting my back. And I know that the chairs at the farm are just those traditional like brown chairs that, you know, function chairs. I decided to pick up one of those driving seats. Actually, I can put that, I don't know if it'll fit in this bag, but it's not going to fit in there. But this is coming to the farm with me. So I will put that right here because the stitching bag is going to go with it on the floor for right now. It'll get moved into the car later this afternoon so that I don't forget it, because I did that for a retreat a couple of years ago and forgot my stitching bag right here on the desk. That was awesome. What else do I bring to retreat? So clothes, obviously, comfortable clothes to wear. Your normal, whatever you bring, toiletries, that kind of stuff. I always bring my journal, pretty much to any retreat I go to, but especially to this one because it's one of those retreats where I can get away for a bit and just go back to the room and chill and just have a little time to myself and a little downtime. And I am by nature a writer. That is my thing. So I will bring my journal to probably write a little bit, and especially right now when, I've got a lot of stuff swirling in my head, get stuff out on paper, just for some self-care time. We'll put it that way, even though the entire retreat really is self-care time. I also bring a book because, late at night, if I'm having trouble sleeping or whatnot, this retreat especially, there's no TVs in the majority of the rooms, including ours. So if I can't sleep and I'm too tired to stitch, books it is. I sometimes will bring some pen pal letters to write. I don't know if I'm going to this time or not. If I do, I'm only going to bring a couple because I never seem to get that many written anyway. So I probably won't do that. And then I normally bring a pair of very comfortable walking shoes, just in case it snows, because up here it can. It is going to be, the third weekend of, or the second weekend in November, and I think the temperatures overnight are supposed to be below freezing. So, but also because if I want to go commune with the chickens, I want to have some shoes that I can bring out there and be safe in, because chickens. That in this case is probably going to be my Crocs, because then I can just wash them off later and it's super easy to take care of. Other stuff for retreats, I won't bring them to this one, but my little floss cards that for trading with people, probably won't do that for this one. I pretty much know everyone at this one. Stitch New England, I always bring them to. Other bigger conventions and retreats, that's much more handy, but this one, there is a exchange going on, but I'm not going to be participating in it this year. I just didn't have time to put anything together. That's about it. I mean, I don't do the table gift thing. That's just not that's become like a thing lately, and that's not really my deal. If I do bring anything like that, it's usually I'll bring a bag of candy and throw it on the table. But again, doesn't really work for this retreat for me, so this one's kind of just more chill. That's about it for that. All right, so was there anything else I wanted to talk about today? Oh, yes, there was. Okay, so if you are someone who has wanted to stitch a chatelaine, I will link the Facebook group below. There is a chatelaine group on Facebook that is hosting a stitch along next year on one of the easier mandalas, and it conveniently is one that I had wanted to stitch, but I was like, I gotta get Deep Blue Sea done first. I can't do two chatelaines. And then the stitch along is going, and it is the same year that I decided I'm stitching all the things next year and starting whatever the hell I feel like starting, and this qualifies under that. So I will link the group below. The rule for the stitch along is and there are instructions in there, so I'm not going to give the email address here, but when you go into the group, look at the pinned notifications, and they have the instructions to get into this separate stitch along group for the year. They are doing the Watergarden, which is one of, believe it or not, the smaller mandalas. This one comes in at 237 by 237. So on 28 count, that's going to be roughly 17 inches square. And it also is one of the chatelaines that doesn't need a ton of silks and a ton of Glorianas. This one is actually mostly in DMC. There is an option for, if you want to do needlepoint silk for the blues, they give an option for it, but you can do almost the entire thing in DMC. And then it calls for a thing of water lilies, a thing of thread gatherer silk and colors, and 2 cards of Rainbow Gallery treasure braid. And that's it for floss. Otherwise, it's all DMC. So, one of the less expensive chatelaines to do. And then it just has, the traditional beads. But the nice thing is that you can you don't have to buy everything up front if you don't want to, and I'm not going to. I'm going to start just with threads and fabric and go from there. So the way they're going to work this is when you get into the main chatelaine group, in the instructions, you have to show proof of purchase of the pattern by taking a picture either of your receipt if you buy it right off of Chatelaine or online, or the hard copy of the pattern that you have from way back when, because I think I bought that 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. And then that you're going to email it to one of the 2 moderators of the stitch-alongs, and then they will approve you to get into the other group. The link to get into that group is in the instructions, all that kind of stuff. They are then going to divide this pattern into 12 parts next year, and designate a part of what we're going to stitch for that month. Probably a lot like it used to be when this was a mystery piece, because they used to be broken out into multiple months. And I wasn't stitching chatelaines when this one was a mystery, but I would imagine it was probably a 12-part back then too. So, because Deep Blue Sea, which is the other one I have going, was a part of it was released every month for a year. So I'll be joining that in January. I've already joined the group, and I need to figure out my fabric for it. The DMC I'm not worried about. I've got that around. I probably have either stuff I can swap out, or I might even have the stuff for the specialty flosses. But if I need to, I can swap something out from what I have. My trick on this one is fabric, because most of the stuff that I've been stitching I've been doing a lot more 36-40 count stitching lately, and because of the beads on a chatelaine, you really don't want to go any higher count than 32. 32 I have. I've got white. I've got antique white, and I know I have a piece that's big enough for this. But I will probably see what World and Stitches has up at the farm in 28 count, because that will very comfortably fit the beads. 32 count, you're starting to get a little scrunched with the beads. So I think I'm going to see what she has, and if I can get a piece that works color-wise, because I don't necessarily want to stitch it on white. But if I have to, I have to. Whatever. Yeah. But I'll see what she has, if she's got anything in 28 count that screams, yes, this will work for this. And otherwise, I'll go with what I got. And that's that. So if you want to stitch a chatelaine with a bunch of us next year, come join the group. And come join the insanity. Should be fun, actually. Will I get it done next year? Heck no. If I get through like 3 or 4 parts of it, I'll be very, very happy. But it'll just be fun to be stitching with the group. And Chatelaine Mysteries used to be a thing. There was one every single year. So until Martina, the designer, passed away. So it'll be good to just see, get back into one of those again. Yeah, and that's kind of it for right now. So thanks for watching and being amused at me rambling because I'm decaffeinated this morning. I do hope it's going to be a great weekend at the farm. If you are one of the people going, come say hi. You know how I am. I'm okay in front of a camera. I get a little shy in person, but I'll talk to anybody. I just am one of those people that half the time I just cannot get out of my own head to go approach people. I'm not, I'm just stupid that way. But I'll be there all weekend. Come say hi, introduce yourself. I'd love to chat with you, see what you're working on. And then I will see you next Monday for my recap and photos and what I actually got done. So, till then, have a great week, everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye.